Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for this week's edition of Inside Out. I'm really going to try and keep it as brief as I can again. Last week was great. We were only on here for like 20 minutes. Hey, Bill, thanks for popping in. Please remember to share this post and get it out there to your friends. Hopefully, they'll join us. We've been very blessed the last couple weeks. We have had a little over 1,100 subscribers watching, or not subscribers, viewers watching. I hope everything's coming through okay. It's really clear on my screen, but one of them is a little off, so I don't know if it's Facebook. Hi, Dan. That's not playing nice with me, but down below is the upcoming for September meeting. If you have any questions about anything going on in around our neighboring municipalities, let me know. Those are right there. They'll be scrolling throughout the show, and things seem to be streaming a little weird, so I'm not sure why, but if you can't hear me, please let me know. I will try to catch that in the comments. We have a lot to cover this week, so I'm going to try and get right into it. Normally, I would start the show by having a quote up, but instead of doing that this week, I just want to take a moment and ask everyone to please keep all those who have been impacted by and those who are bracing for the impact of Hurricane Dorian in your thoughts and prayers. You know, the Bahamas have been through a lot. People on the coast are bracing for unknown consequences to this. But so I have family down there, I have friends down there, so they're certainly in thoughts and prayers. And I thought that this would be a good way to start this week. So if you could please do that, I'd really appreciate it. One thing I've really always admired about our community and this region is the outreach and the ability for people to come together and show compassion. Fires, natural disasters, personal need of illness and death. The people of McSherrystown and the surrounding communities have always offered genuine outreach and have been very quick to ask, what can I do to help? Hi, Joy. Thanks for joining us. And hi, B. And that's always been wonderful. But it's also great because it's just not in time of heartache or devastation that friends and neighbors come together. I mean, right now, I don't know if many of you know this, but in Hanover, there is a project that's going on. Oops, let's get that out of there. And it's the Friends of the Historic Hanover Theater. It's a Facebook page. If you don't know about it, please check it out. It's a public group. They're rather new. And, this is an effort to once again look at the feasibility and rehab to save the Hanover Theater downtown. This isn't just an effort to reach out for those who live in Hanover. This is an effort to reach out to anyone who might be interested through community connections, architectural interest, preservation. Maybe you have a special skill, electrical, carpentry, fundraising. I don't know, but it's really and truly a way to outreach and talk to the community. And I've been noticing, looking at this, I hear people saying, well, they've tried that before, but no one really said, sorry, I don't live here. Sounds like a great idea, but I can't help. So it really makes me wonder why people have been so quick to say that here in relation to McSherrystown, when it's very easily seen what the council is doing and how they're behaving. Many people have commented, how inappropriate and how disgusting the display of the behavior is by the elected and appointed borough council members. So they're seeing this. It's not like people are turning a blind eye. I want to say hi to quite a few people have popped in. Hi, Debbie and Donna and Margaret and Kim and Cheryl. So when you're looking at things going around and they say, oh, well, it's really sad what's happening in McSherrystown, but I'm not from there. But I do want to ask you this, because I know some of you that popped in, the answer is going to be yes to some of these things. Do you have children that attend school here? Play sports here for home or away games? Do you get your prescriptions filled here, your hair done here, buy dinner here, spend money at businesses in McSherrystown? Do you have family or friends who live here? Do you contribute to the baseball team, help collect or raise funds for programs helped by the Moose, the Knights of Columbus, McSherrystown Home Association, or really any projects that might be going on through town, even DeLone as an alumni or someone with a current student? Does the community you live in do business with McSherrystown through joint ventures? The water, the sewer, senior center, shared crossing guard expenses, or any municipal services? Really, if the answer is yes, then you deserve to have a say, to ask questions, and expect transparency. Because if you think that our elected officials' behavior has been bad towards the people they serve who live in this community, do you really think those same elected officials can be trusted in doing business with your community, with your nonprofit, with your project, whether it's supporting another, a fire company or a school or some sort of outreach, your program? If our elected officials don't honor their promises or tell the truth to constituents, do you trust the current McSherrystown Borough Council to be truthful and honor promises made with your communities? What happens in McSherrystown on a municipal level should be a concern for everyone who sees this video. Because if this can happen here, it can happen where you are. So the next question is, well, I answered yes to some of those things. How can I help? You can come to the remaining meetings. There are just 2 more between now and the election. There's 4 more till the end of the year. You don't need to say a word, but listen and take it back. Take it back to your homes, to your friends, to your boroughs. Reach out to the candidates and commit to talking to one person or business owner that you know in McSherrystown. Ask them if they support the candidates running in support of transparency. And if not, why not? Better yet, ask them why they are supporting the incumbents, given all that we know. Ask them if they have seen any of the meetings or reached out to any of the candidates who are running. Volunteer to help with one of the candidates' campaigns. Knock on doors. Spend time at the polls talking to the people that you may know, even if you don't live here. Ask a current sitting council member to explain why they have repeatedly lied about not wanting to retire Ozzy, our canine, and then made plans to do so in emails. Ask the council why they submitted such a low offer to the arbiter, because the offer they approved their lawyer to present was designed solely for one purpose, and that was to bring about the lowest award possible. Ask them if they feel they can't afford a police department at 35%, and that was said at one meeting. 35% of the municipal budget, that is such a low number and well below state standards, the recommendations. How is it that they feel as though they could afford any type of public services solely or jointly in the future? Now keep in mind that 35%, that also includes the legal fees that they bundled in to fight the department. So that 35% of the municipal budget is much lower than that. If our council isn't willing to properly fund our police department now, why would anyone trust that the current council will make our community safety a priority in the future? Our sitting council have talked about supporting the police, seniors, and children to encourage your vote in the past. Have you seen any evidence of that through today? Have you seen any effort on their part to keep those words? Have you seen the impasse letter and the treatment of the mayor and the police department during the meetings? Let's look at some of the other things our council has run on. I'm going to show you some pictures that I took. These are benches at the dog park. I was asked just this week, when did they arrive? Who paid for them? Where did they come from? The answer is I don't know, because the sitting council has chosen not to share that information. I don't know if they were donated. I don't know if the stones, the pads that were dug out underneath, if that was volunteer time or we paid employees to do that. If we paid for the stones, were things donated? We don't know. But there are some other unfinished and forgotten projects and promises that I want to ask you about. Maybe you can ask them about. This is a picture of the walking path, and that is pretty much what the walking path right next to the dog park looks like. Keep in mind, they approved at the last meeting to run water to the dog park. So that's an ongoing taxpayer expense for water and sewer. We have upkeep for those lines that are going to occur, but they haven't bothered to do anything with this track, and it's been in existence for, I'm told, 5-10 years. It's been a while, long enough that it should look better than this. Here are the courts out by the senior center. I didn't go over to the playground equipment. This is just looking by. The poles are chipped. The blacktop, it's faded. It's patchy. I'm not sure if this is one they have to weed whack or not, but there are courts that they do because the cracks are so bad the weeds are growing right up through them. Here's the bench at the Moose Park. Now I understand that the Moose Park, they might be wanting that lease back, but shouldn't we keep that up as at the very least a gesture of goodwill? This is where kids play, and they have a sign 10 and under, so you're going to sit there on this warped bench where the kids are going to be, I just question the priorities. Here is the rec park. You have 3 courts back there behind the baseball fields. 2 have to be weed whacked and sprayed for weeds because they are so broken and patchy that they need repatched, but they really need resurfaced. 1, it doesn't have any cracks, but it's very faded and pretty difficult. I mean, you can see the lines when you're right there, but all of these things, campaign promises for seniors and kids. The senior center still needs a roof. I think that's in the budget that they're working on, but they delayed it again. Things keep getting pushed back and pushed off. Our council has been focused these last 14-15 months on destruction, tearing down people and programs that serve our community through innuendo, whisper campaigns, and really outright lies. Is this the future that we want from our community? Is this more of the same? It's always been that way governance for our community. Don't we deserve better than that? I really appreciate what you're doing, all of you, the candidates, you, but things aren't going to change. It's always been this way. Well, those people are right. If people are willing to stand in the shadows and wait out the storm, it's very likely things in McSherrystown won't change. But we have just 63 days until the general election. That's when it's going to be important and help, whether you live in this community or you have connections to this community, you support candidates running for this community. This is really important. These candidates, Joy Murrin, George Staub, Mark Lookenbill, Dan Colgan, Bill Smith, my husband, William F. Smith Jr., they're not running because they think that they can, magically wave a wand and fix everything. They're running because they want to make sure that when someone says, when did those benches get here? In fact, that they're coming before they get in. Why don't we have money for this? And do we have money for this? They want to make sure that where the money's being spent, where the money's sitting. They want to make sure that the policies, procedures, provisions, that they're there. So things are going slow enough that you can keep up, but fast enough that we're not deadlocked. But they want to do it all transparently. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm doing what I do. That's why I go to the meetings. That's why I speak out. These candidates have made it their business to learn as much as they can in preparation for this. They're attending workshops, they're attending meetings, they're attending other council meetings outside of our area to look and see how is it being done, what's going on, what do we need to know, what's coming down the pipeline, all in preparation. Office of Open Records webinars, external meetings, and then bringing that information and sharing it because they all have jobs, they all have other things going on in their lives. These 5 people have done more to move McSherrystown forward and closer to transparency in 15 months, actually less than that because they didn't decide to start running 15 months ago, than these sitting council members have done in the last 4 or more years that they've been serving on this council. And it's up to everyone listening and watching to ask them why and hold them accountable for not doing more. It's really all of our responsibility. It does affect you in other municipalities what happens here in McSherrystown. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the Eisenhower Extension project tonight, but there were 2 things that came up to me that I thought it really important that I bring to your attention. Recently, Hanover Borough and Penn Township both submitted resolutions condemning the TSM, which would create a very significant financial impact, negative financial impact to Hanover Borough. And I applaud them for doing that, for standing up for their community. But what I do have concerns about is that by saying that, disavowing the TSM option, they have actively spoke out in support of the 5C bypass plan, even in some in referring to it as the preferred option, which is concerning. By supporting the 5C plan, these municipalities have saved themselves from an unquestionably damaging bad plan that would cause economic hardship to both Hanover, McSherrystown, possibly Penn Township. I'm not sure where their link is in this. And transferred that to the people of Conewago Township. What about the community members in Sherry Village who were promised there wouldn't be a buildup behind their houses? What about the people who were, which is exactly where the 5C is slated to go? What about the families who are served by the daycare that will be affected, and the family homes that will be taken, and partial land that will be taken by homeowners? Just because the optics plays better by standing up against the TSM with 53 properties lost in the financial impact doesn't mean that the property owners and the community in Conewago Township aren't going to be negatively impacted by the 5C. If you look at the plea Saves made at 2 public meetings saying growth needs to slow because they, as in Saves, will need to ask for more money and expand if growth continues at a booming rate, that will only be that growth will only be expedited by the 5C plan. Hanover and Penn Township could have easily put through these resolutions without throwing Conewago residents affected by 5C under the bus and without supporting a program that will hurt their neighbors. I'm really disappointed to see that in standing up for themselves, they've not considered what will happen to their neighbors. I just want to look ahead again to next week, to Tuesdays. I know I haven't stopped for comments. Debbie, I'm just seeing this now. I'm thinking about joining the Moose. Well, join the Moose, meet new people. You can certainly come talk to the candidates. You can volunteer at the polls to help with the candidates. That's a great way to meet new people. Come to the meetings in the Borough Council. You will meet some people. Sorry, I'm told that the broadcasting is interrupting and I'm not sure what's going on, so I do apologize. Since I am recording this, if I can, I will take the whole recording and boost it through. Someone mentioned it might be the graphics, so we might have to cut those back. But, there's a lot going on here in the community, and supporting your neighbors is a big thing. So I encourage everybody, tune into the next episode. Hopefully we'll try and get the graphics issue worried out and the choppiness fixed up. It might be our internet, who knows. Maybe I just have to kick my son off Xbox when I'm live streaming. Also, come to the next meeting. It's the next Borough Council meeting is the night after our next episode, Wednesday, September 11th. So hopefully you can come there and join us and introduce yourself to some of the candidates. Not everybody's there every time because it's that time of the year. Some of us still have kids in school that are back to school nights and sports starting, but many try to be there as often as they can. And reach out to me or Tim, the page. Dan Colgan and I, kind of watch that and the admin that. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, reach out to us, let us know, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to you with information. But I'm really eager to hear back from the people who are watching this, other than the spotty coverage. I understand how annoying that is, and I will try to fix that. But, hopefully we have 63 days. Next time I see you, it'll be under 2 months. And hopefully with your support, we will be looking at making things a little better incrementally, through the next election. But come out and help support the candidates. And when the time comes and you need help in partnering with your community, hopefully you'll have people sitting in those seats who you can trust to keep their word to you. So thank you for tuning in this week. Managed to keep it right around 20 minutes. So good night. God bless. And we will see you again next week. Bye.